Good evening, my loves, and cue the goosebumps because this one really touches me right here in my little cold heart. We're talking about World AIDS Day, Broadway community, and a celebration of love and legacy that will leave you shouting no day but today. Joining me today, in my bed is my dear friend and powerhouse, Dr. Kal Gajraj, Senior Vice President and Chief Marketing Officer at Can Community Health, professor at Miami-Dade College, Forbes contributor, and a man who somehow does it all and still looks flawless next to me. Yeah, I said that. Okay, no, usually I'm next to him. It's something like that. Well, Kal, welcome back to the FayWhat show.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be back. It's been a while since I've been in bed with you.
I know. Well, since you got the job at the incredible Can Community Health, you've been a little busy.
It's been very busy. It's been very busy.
I mean, I feel like you announced the position and like you hit the ground running. I mean, like you haven't like taken a breath in that time that you've been with Can. How does that feel?
It's been an incredible journey, and you're right. Since I started with Can last August, so it's been a little over a year, and I've just been traveling. A lot of people don't realize that Can is nationwide. So we have clinics in multiple states. So medical, pharmacy, dental, behavioral health. We do so much for a lot of the community. So we're really proud of that.
Well, I remember that I was in Vegas visiting a friend and I saw Can Community Health like represented. They were like at all these events and I'm like taking pictures, sending to Kal, and he's like, we're everywhere.
We're everywhere.
Right? Well, so Kal, World AIDS Day is such a sacred time for our community, you know? Tell us about Can Community Health's World AIDS Day concert and what can people expect this year? I mean, the incredible Adam Pascal, Anthony Rapp, the original stars of Rent, are headlining. And you know that my inner Broadway person is screaming for joy because you know how much I love Rent and how much I love these songs. No Day But Today is practically tattooed on my heart, So how did this collaboration come together?
So World AIDS Day is celebrated globally on December 1st of every year in every country, which is an amazing observance of just remembrance and hope for the future. This year, Can decided to take it a step further to create this unique experience both in Fort Lauderdale and Tampa. So Sunday, November 30th in Fort Lauderdale, and then Monday, December 1st in Tampa. We're holding these two concerts, like you said, with Adam Pascal and Anthony Rapp, who were the original Mark and Roger from Rent. So it's super exciting. They have mentioned that they might be bringing some of their cast members with them.
Oh my God.
They haven't said who.
If Idina Menzel,
I know.
I will just die right there.
I really hope that it is Idina, but who knows?
But does it matter?
It doesn't matter. Like, we're all going to be there. The event is going to be at the Los Olos Oceanside Park.
Whoa,
so
that's a great
known
space.
as the Loop in Fort Lauderdale, so right on Fort Lauderdale Beach. So we're really excited about that. We're anticipating, about 3,000 people there. It's going to be a really powerful night.
Get there early.
Yeah.
Oh my God. My next question was how many people does that hold, right? Because that's incredible. Like, what a decision to be had, right? You could have made this into a smaller scale concert, right? Which, a couple hundred people could have gone to, and it would have been spectacular and we all would have been happy, right? But you opened it up and put it at the promenade with holding 3,000 people. Logistics on that can't be easy, Kal.
It's kind of crazy. We're super excited to partner with Harmony Waves, who have put on so many incredible events in our community, and the Gray Box Theater and Master Sound Productions to put on this spectacular event. We're super excited about it. We have the Gay Men's Chorus of South Florida as part of our pre-show. Alexander Zenos and the Birds of Paradise, who's also our featured headliner. And who knows, maybe some more surprises.
Well, I have a feeling there's going to be more surprises, I mean, right there, that's enough for me, my little heart. I'm going to be camping out the night before so I can get a good spot. You? I'm just saying. Why was it so important for Can to celebrate World AIDS Day through music, through art, through storytelling, rather than just statistics and speeches that most of these organizations do?
I think it was time for us to bring some more visibility to this. And we all know that the intersection of the arts and health and wellness, correlate with each other for living, just healthier, more progressive lives. we're also, obviously living in unprecedented times. Like we're being erased, page by page, off the internet, laws, it's just sidewalks, it's just crosswalks, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So we thought that, we wanted to bring visibility to this type of observance this year, to shed light on, there are people who are still affected by HIV.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's people who are still, like, I had this conversation with Teresa, who is a nurse practitioner, and she was telling me about how there's still many people that die from AIDS-related things, that
Complications,
people don't talk about. You know what I mean? Like the meds are definitely elongating your life. You are able to live and thrive, but there are always secondary things. There are always side effects. There are always, So, the reality is that, like, you and I have talked off camera about World AIDS Day not being just about remembrance, it's about resilience, How does this concert honor both the people that we've lost and the community that's still here fighting?
Yeah, there's a lot of that. Well, a big part of that is actually making the concert accessible to the public. So general admission is only $10.
Ching, ching.
We wanted to make this concert accessible to everyone. And even going further than that, we've made it free for any Ryan White client or any patient of CAN or Midland as well. So there are no barriers to entry for this concert. A lot of the concerts that we go to can cost you hundreds of dollars,
okay?
easily.
And he's a concert maniac, okay? So that's coming from him.
And
Yeah.
just sitting like in the 300s sections, it costs you over $100. So we really wanted this concert to be about the community and about the people in the HIV community as well. That we see them.
Yeah. Yeah, and Rent, if you don't know, Rent is a musical about all these young people, mostly living and trying to thrive with HIV and AIDS during a time where there was very limited resources and very limited access to meds at that time, you know? CAN Community Health has been at the forefront of HIV testing, prevention, and care for decades, okay? Just because we're talking about CAN Community Health now, because this beautiful face is a part of it, doesn't mean that they just started doing this shit yesterday, right? They have been doing it for decades, okay? But it's also about destigmatizing, right? That is something that seems it's not getting better.
Yeah.
How does an event like this help move that mission forward?
I think it brings the awareness back to the front line. Like I mentioned before, people are still testing positive for HIV today. People are still, spreading STIs. People are still affected by this in their daily life, whether it's their friends, their family, it's themselves, so that's why the prevention and education behind HIV is so important.
So important.
Because it's still affecting our community today. It has not gone away.
No, it hasn't.
I think that's something that our communities need to realize, that just because the current administration takes it off of a website, it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist.
Exactly. Yeah. I spoke to a woman, because Miami's #1 with new infections, all right? It's usually the BIPOC community that gets hit the most. And I was speaking to an African-American friend of mine who didn't know that she could be on PrEP. She had no idea, Cal. And and this is someone who is part of our community, right? Goes to many events, knows a lot, but did not know that part, And, she was like, yeah, but, I don't know if I should do this. I have a husband and blah, 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 and he might be cheating on me. You know what I mean? Like, okay, well, you've got to take care of yourself first, right? There are programs where your husband will never receive anything from you coming in and getting tested and getting what you need. There are ways to make things anonymous, correct? Right? I mean, that is
absolutely. And just to think that, science today, it just takes one pill a day to prevent the spread of HIV. It even comes in an injectable form as well, that you can get on a monthly or bi-monthly basis. There's even a 6-month injectable that's on the market now, that's going through insurance.
And you guys really fought for that one.
Yeah, we fight for not only access to healthcare, but also funding as well, to make these drugs affordable and accessible to the community. Even to doxypep. There's the day after pill to stop the spread of STIs. So there is medication that's out there that will help our community, because we know hookups happen. We're not telling people not to have sex. And it's not also an LGBT thing.
No.
Well. When we look at our demographics, 40% of our patients are LGBT, but the other 40% are heterosexual community.
Wow.
And that's the community that a lot of people
Wow.
don't talk about.
Yeah.
So just to think that, they're equal 40% in our demographics, it's huge.
It's ginormous. There's a beautiful theme of hope in Rent, Do you think that message will resonate as powerfully today as it did all those years ago when Rent first came out?
I hope so. Rent was, captivating when it first came out because it was a time period where we were coming from a president who would not say the word AIDS
Yeah.
publicly,
Yeah.
to a Broadway musical that addressed it in the 90s, that went on to win a Tony Award. And, we're really excited that Adam and Anthony can reunite their friendship on stage after 30 years. And I can't believe it's been 30 years since Rent came out.
Yeah.
But we're still in the fight against,
Yeah.
HIV.
Yeah, yeah, and that's what they say about their show, that it's a show about friendship,
Yeah.
that it's a show about that their energy together is just simply incredible, right? And they've, known each other and worked together for, almost 30 years now, right?
Yeah.
And so we'll be able to see that all on stage. You're not just doing this as an executive, which you are, you've lived, breathed, and loved this work. Why does this particular event mean so much to you personally?
Wow.
Because
Yeah.
you're a little extra on everything, but for this one, you're really up, up and up and up. You've gone above and beyond,
This event in particular is really special to me and close to my heart because it combines so many different passions of mine. Number one, my professional life as working in healthcare and ending the HIV epidemic, but also my passion for the arts. So I've worked in nonprofit arts before, whether it was Broadway or the opera. I love going to events. I'm a subscriber to Broadway Across America, the Symphony,
Yes, you are.
Slow Burn Theater. Shout out to all of our local nonprofit arts organizations. I've been involved with Harmony Waves for 2 years now on their board, and we just recently opened the Great Box Theater in Wilton Manors. So I love the arts. The arts for me are an escape because this world can be an awful place for some people sometimes, and I get that everyone has a story and it may not be easy, but just to be able to escape for 90 minutes to go see a show, just to be able to be in another place and time, another culture, another language, I think that means so much. So to be able to combine my love and passion for the arts with what I do with healthcare together for this one night of just this powerful message is a dream come true to me.
Oh, I love that. I love that. I know that you've got a big heart for community because, that's one of the many reasons why I fell in love with you myself. It's your love for who you are, for the people around you. You always give up your shirt for anybody that you love. The arts are kind of like your baby, also, even though he also has a fur baby, Patches, who is probably watching right now, you know what I mean? Does Patches know that you've been like hanging out with Broadway royalty lately and you've been like just bringing all these incredible people to us?
He has
we've been
no
seeing
idea.
some incredible stuff happen and we need to start taking him. I just interviewed Varla. She takes her dog everywhere. I think Patches should be at all these shows at Gray Box. I'm just saying.
I need to start bringing Patches. He has no idea that his daddy is so involved.
His dada. Is it he call you his dada?
Yeah, he calls me. Yeah, he has a British accent, and he calls me dada. That I'm so involved and doing some amazing things. But I hope he's proud of me.
I think he is, puppy.
Yeah.
I think he is. Aside from all of the things that Kal does, he's also a professor, right? And in that time, he tries his best to also be a mentor to these young people, right? That are going to be our future, right? What message do you hope that your students, right, and younger generations take away from a concert like this?
Oh, it's incredible because we have most of my students are in their early 20s. So I'm fortunate.
They weren't even born.
Yeah, they weren't even born yet during this time period, but they are affected by HIV. They are affected by STIs. They've only seen or heard of Rent, from watching it or
the movie.
The movie.
Yeah.
So to be able to bring this to life, is incredibly meaningful for me, just not only from an education perspective as well, but also because they know that I'm passionate about the arts. They know I work in healthcare.
Yeah.
I love my students. I think it's an amazing ability to be able to teach the next generation, because those who know should teach.
Yeah.
You know, so for me, just being able to teach what I know and, you know, with marketing and communications to the next generation that's coming up
Yeah.
is incredibly meaningful, because hopefully, you know, 20 years from now, they look back and be like, oh, you know, like that professor was really cool.
Well, and even you don't give yourself enough credit. He's way more wonderful than he allows me to say. You know, the reality is that he's also an incredible representation, right? He is a gay man, first generation, right? You know, his family came here to give him a better life, right? To
Well, I wasn't even born yet.
in
Yeah.
hopes that their children would have better lives,
Yeah.
right? And here you are, a professor, you know, with this incredible position at Can Community Health, but also just on your own time doing things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's just a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Trust me, they're proud of you.
I hope so. You know, I never imagined, you know, my grandparents immigrated from Guyana in South America to New York in the 70s. And I was only a sparkle in my father's eye at that
Yeah.
point, you know, so it's, I really hope that, you know, they moved to America for a better life, you know, for their kids, which were my parents, and, you know, for the American dream. And, you know, being a first generation American is something that I hold very close to my heart. And I hope that I made them proud.
I think you have. You know, as another first generation product, right? Like, you know, we're the ones here that are taking over. We're the ones that are making the rules. We're the ones that refuse to allow that person that's in the White House right now dictate who we love and how happy we are.
Yeah.
You know, he will not take that away from us. I mean, Cal, we were together when Kamala lost. We were together during that time. We were out there protesting. We've been out there screaming for people to vote. We've, you know, we do the work and we do it every day, you know, but a fatigue is reality.
Yeah.
You know, what do you do to make sure that that fatigue doesn't get you and make you go under the covers for weeks at a time?
You know what? It's, we're only human, you know, and I always say that, you know, take your 5 minutes, you know, cry it out, scream, you know, but we have to continue fighting. Like, we are the representation of today and tomorrow's America. You know, what happened yesterday is already gone.
Yeah.
You know, unfortunately, you know, Kamala lost an election, but we do have another one coming up next year. We just went through another election, you know, a couple weeks ago at this point, you know, and
Mamdani
won, you know, New York City mayor, you know,
that gave me a little hope. That reminded me a little bit of during the Kamala time. You know what I mean?
You know, and it's actually incredible, because not even to, I don't know if you've seen like everything going on with like Marjorie Taylor Greene, but like, even she's changed her tone of voice.
Because she's a woman and Trump can't deal with a strong, mad woman. So he's turned his back on her too.
Yeah, and I really hope that politicians start to open their eyes and start to represent their communities and their constituents again. And forget about this whole, you know, I'm a Democrat, I'm a Republican, you know, and they dig their heels in for certain things. Like, it's about the people that you represent. And it's about the children that are growing up, that are watching us as adults now make these decisions. Because I look at some of these people and, you know, what they post on Facebook, and I'm like, are you going to regret what you posted, you know, 10 years from now? You know, when it comes back to haunt you? It's just kind of eye-opening. But I always remember that, you know, that tomorrow is, you know, it's going to be a better day, and we just have to keep pushing and keep fighting and keep hoping for, you know, a better future for all of us.
Amen. Amen. All righty. So let's get everybody to the World AIDS Day concert, right? It's happening November 30th and December 1st in Tampa, actually, too, which is pretty dope. All right. So, folks, if you missed it, run up to Tampa the next day. You might make it, you know?
Catch that spirit flight from
right?
FLL to TPA.
Listen, it'll get you there in 45 minutes. I mean, I'm just saying, all right? Tell these folks where they can get their tickets today.
You can get your tickets at www.nodaybuttoday.org.
All right. So World AIDS Day concert, no day but today. 3001 East Las Olas Boulevard is actually where the place is going to be. Sunday, November 30th at 7 p.m. Presented by Can Community Health, featuring Adam Pascal, Anthony Rapp from Rent. We're also going to have the Birds of Paradise, Alexander Zinos, who is incredibly talented. I love that boy. The Gay Men's Chorus of South Florida, Edward Otto Zelke, I adore you. Gabe Salazar, those folks are just ridiculously talented. You're going to have have an evening that you will not soon forget. Make sure that you charge your phone and bring your lights because there's going to be a lot of pictures taken, right?
Oh, yeah.
Right? All right. So Can Community Health looks forward to seeing you there. And we also recommend attendees to use rideshare services, right?
We do, yeah.
You know, just
Uber,
3,000
Lyft.
of your closest friends. It can be a little crazy, you know?
Yeah. You know, parking's always a hassle everywhere you go.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
that's South Florida
That's
now.
South Florida.
It just really is, you know? All proceeds are going to benefit. I didn't want to forget to
Yeah.
mention the Susan,
The Susan
Terry.
Terry Foundation. Susan Terry is the founder of CAN. She did pass away a few years ago. And CAN Community Health founded a foundation in her name that oversees our patient assistance fund. Something that people may not know is that CAN treats anyone that walks into our doors, insured or uninsured.
Oof.
No one gets turned away for
I love
treatment.
that. I love that. I mean, and that's very rare in South Florida. Let's just say that. All right. And so the Susan Terry Foundation is supporting the Patient Assistance Fund, like Cal said, which provides direct help to patients facing economic hardship. And during these times, there's a lot of folks that are facing economic hardship. So follow Can Community Health and Harmony Waves on Instagram for updates, and go to showpass.com to get your tickets as well.
Yes.
Did I get everything?
Everything.
I got everything. All right, Cal, you know I love you, and this means so much to me that you're back in my bed, and also to have two original rent voices right here in South Florida for World AIDS Day. It's just beyond special. And like Jonathan Larson taught us, forget regret, or life is yours to miss. So go get your tickets, honor the love, and celebrate the life. Now, Cal, you know how we do this. We both got to say, FayWhat?
FayWhat?
There it is. All right. Thank you, Kal Gajraj from Can Community Health, and I will see you all at the World AIDS Day concert.